Finances can be a very tricky subject for some people. They just can't seem to work it out, especially in relationships with big age gaps and big income gaps and supposedly very big gaps in empathy and just understanding for one another. That's crazy. G'day there guys, it's your main man Marky and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the Arsehole. Now if you love today's bloody good content, I want you to smack that like button, sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and get ready for some bloody contentious content. Let's go. Would I be the arsehole if I got help from a charity despite our joint income being very high? So my husband, 38 male, and I, 24 female, have a combined income of $60,000 per year, or thereabouts. He's the big earner at $50K, and I scrape by on a much lower income part-time job. He's always been very protective of his earnings, as he's worked very hard for the job he has. Since moving in together, we agreed to mostly keep our own expenses separate. If I buy things for the household like shopping or cleaning, bills, etc., we split them in half. If I go to the store, I give him the receipt, and he adds up how much of the items are shared and transfers me half. Anything we get for ourselves is paid out of our own accounts, any personal expenses, etc. He does, however, pay a much higher portion of the rent. This has worked fine for us. I do the majority of the housework to make up for not contributing as much, and because I have more free time around my job. The issue we have right now is that I'm pregnant. Because of our agreement, I'm expected to pay for anything medical, any bits I need for the duration of the pregnancy, or anything I will need post-birth for myself out of my own money. He will pay for half of anything directly relating to the baby, but everything else is my responsibility. I'm in a position now where I simply can't cover everything, and any conversation I have tried to have has ended up with the same outcome. I knew what the agreement was before we started trying. I genuinely thought that I would be able to cover a lot more, or that some of the things are more to do with the baby than me, so he would help. But he has very clear definitions of what is for me and what is for the baby. Thanks to insurance, a lot of medical bills are covered, but having to buy a whole new bigger wardrobe, and things I didn't originally think of that I need or will need, like breast pads, maternity pads for after the birth, etc., are adding up. There's a charity nearby which would help to supply some of these things, but I feel absolutely awful turning to them when I know that it would make such a small dent in my husband's wage, and he would be perfectly capable of covering it if he was inclined to. I just feel a bit desperate, but I'm completely torn up as to the ethics of it. So would I be the arsehole for asking for some help from this charity? Personally, no, I don't think you'd be the arsehole. If he's continuing to financially dominate you in the way that he is, and he doesn't see sense, and he doesn't see that, hey, it might be defined as a personal expense in your sense of the word, but I need this, the baby needs this. And if you're going to be such a hard ass about it that I need charity, then this is going to be a big problem. This is a two-way street. This isn't just his way or the highway. You're not the asshole for going to the charity, but this seems to be a much bigger problem. Now in the comments, your credit score 100 says, hold up, your husband doesn't think that he should help pay for the pregnancy? It's not like you just suddenly became pregnant on your own. He contributed just as much into making that child. He's just as responsible, and you need to hold him to that. You have to carry that baby in your body, and your body will handle the consequences, not his. But he still gets his child out of this. Not the arsehole, but your husband should be helping you. Finances seem to be its own problem in your relationship too. I'm petty, so I want her to invoice him for 6,720 hours of gestating. It is for the baby after all. Say something like, I'm growing the baby's freaking ears over here. You can buy my pads for when I push it out. Imagine being such an asshole that you won't buy your wife postpartum pads. Your husband is abusing you financially. It's something that happens often in relationships with large age gaps. Leave home now and go somewhere safe. This right here, red flags. Responsible, loving partners do not act like this. I'm legitimately worried for OP and her child. This man is unreasonable and selfish to the point of being dangerous. I sincerely hope that she leaves him and lets lawyers handle the dissolution of this horrible relationship. She and the baby deserve better than this. not the asshole, but run girl, run. Holy crap, are you serious? The issue here isn't that you're thinking about going to a charity, the issue is that your current situation necessitates you considering going to a charity. Being pregnant isn't like adopting a puppy. This is his flesh and blood. The fact that he's pinching pennies when it comes to the care of his wife, who is carrying his child, makes him a massive tool. I don't care how much he worked for his job. He's going to be a father, and part of that is taking care of the mother of his child. If he's steadfastly against helping you, by all means go to the charity. Once your immediate needs are met, it's time for some couples therapy. This dude doesn't seem to understand how relationships work. I hesitate to see what kind of father he'll be. Jesus. Not the asshole at all. Not couples therapy, divorce. This guy is insanely selfish and abusive, and therapy won't touch either of those things. OP and her kid deserve a safer environment, stat. That was my first response too, but I've seen responses removed for immediately recommending divorce, so couples therapy, then, when that inevitably doesn't work, divorce. And now onto the update. So OP says, I'm sorry it's taken so long for an update, but I wanted to thank all the people who commented and sent links to helpful places. The short story is that I left. It has been very hard. I'm a single mother, and I'm completely cut off from my ex-husband. He does not pay any money to me or for my baby. I did what people here recommended, and I spoke to the people at the charity, and some of the women around town. They were all horrified by it, and I think that it was their reaction that made me properly realize I was not in a good position. They helped me leave, and find a shelter and a job. I'm able to stay until I have enough to rent a place of my own. One woman and her husband paid my medical bills, and I'm so eternally grateful to them. I will never be able to repay them. I made them my child's godparents. To answer some questions left over from my last post, I did not initially want to have a baby, but my ex-husband convinced me that it would be for the best. When I wrote the post, I was too far gone to change my mind, and I have no regrets now. My child is the light of my life. I do not have any family left. My parents died when I was young, and my grandparents on my mum's side raised me until they passed away when I was in my late teens. I had nobody to turn to or to help me until I reached out to the people in the town. I don't want to say any more because I don't want my ex to ever see this and find me. Thank you all again. Now in the comments, Parsnip9 says, I'm glad you were able to get help. Look up the Buy Nothing group for your area. It's basically neighbors giving away things they don't need anymore for free without any expectations of reciprocation, and you can post asking for anything you need. In my area, people are always giving away baby and kid stuff, clothes, furniture, food, etc. Buy Nothing groups are amazing and have been a true lifesaver for me. But since they operate as Facebook groups which anyone can join, and sometimes involve sharing an address, and at the very least, sharing which neighborhood you live in, OP should be very aware and be cautious about that if she wants to stay off her ex's radar. I'm so happy for you and your bub that you escaped into building a safe and happy future. Best of wishes to you, you brave soul and awesome mother. The original post is horrifying. I'm so glad that the OP got help and is doing better. However, OP, go after child support. You and your baby obviously need it, and he wanted this baby. Sending lots of good vibes your way. And to everyone bringing up OP suing for financial support for her and the baby, it might be best to reread the post. Nowhere in it does she say she divorced him. Her post sounds like she took off with the baby one day, which could explain why she's so concerned about her ex finding out where she is. While I do agree that you need to get alimony and child support from your ex, perhaps you should wait till you're more well established. It might not be the best strategy to file suit and show up living in a shelter with a baby, barely scraping by, especially if your husband left no evidence of his abuses. It's possible a judge could grant him custody just because he'd be more financially stable for the baby, even though he's a monster. So find work, be a good mum, find a nice good home, and when you're ready to take him to court, do so. Our next post is by user Where Are the Avocados? Titled, Am I the arsehole for not wanting to go on my family vacation to Jamaica if I have to share a room with my stepbrother? So hi guys, I am a 19 female and my parents got divorced about 6 years ago. My dad remarried a new woman and my siblings and I have only met her son, 16 male, 2 times, because he doesn't even live in the same state as us. The times that he came to town, he stayed in our house, and my dad said that we had to try to get to know him, to please his wife. Well, this kid is nice and all, but he's also kinda creepy and is not self-aware. He would come into my room unannounced, waking me up from naps, just to sit in my bed and talk. Or he would linger around my room, looking at all my stuff, just very intrusive, and it made me uncomfortable. One time he even showed me a TikTok about how in some states it's illegal to marry your step-sibling. And he never was like that with my sister, so that's why I started feeling uncomfortable. So my dad plans this family vacation to Jamaica for a week, and we go in the beginning of August. My sister and I were just made aware of the fact that my dad only got 2 rooms, which means that my sister, my brother, my stepbrother, and I would all be sharing a room. I freaked out and told my dad that this made me extremely uncomfortable. I don't sleep with a bra, and when I'm getting changed and picking out what to wear, I don't want him around. I also need my alone time every once in a while, and especially on trips. And I could hardly get that in my own house when he came to visit, so imagine if we're in the same room. My dad completely disregarded my feelings, saying things like, "There's nothing that can be done. Stay positive, it'll be fun. Siblings have to sleep together sometimes." He even said that he can't get a new room because they're too expensive, even though we're upper middle class and I know he can afford it. And he won't uninvite the kid, because he fears his crazy wife. He started telling my sister and I that we were ungrateful because we both said that we don't want to go if we have to share a room with him. The sad part is, I think he'd actually let us stay home and just take her son and my brother, instead of just fixing his mistake. So please let me know, am I the arsehole, or would y'all react the same way? I don't think you're the arsehole for this one. I think he's being unreasonable and he knows this, but instead of spending a bit more money and getting another room for you and your sister, he'd rather just double down on his idiocracy and make this your problem, or just not have you at the vacation at all. It would please his wife knowing that we saved money and we sorted this problem out, haha. I don't understand why he doesn't want to listen to his own daughter, and he prefers his own wife over that. That's a bit weird to me, but to each their own with these, not the arsehole. Now in the comments, not the arsehole. Your dad shouldn't ask you to share a room with a teenage boy you barely know at all, let alone one who has made creepy comments to you. You're also an adult and don't have to go on a vacation abroad if you don't like the company. I'm wondering if the dad knows about the TikTok. OP, if he doesn't, he may think you just don't like the guy. If dad knows that stepbro told you it's okay to have a relationship, he may not feel like it's still siblings sleeping together. Dad has already dismissed her comfort. He'll probably dismiss that as a joke or a misunderstanding, which it may well be. It shouldn't matter though. She shouldn't be expected to share a room with a boy that she hardly knows, even if he's the nicest kid in the world. Not the arsehole. You should trust your gut. If he makes you uncomfortable, you shouldn't have to share a room with him. As an adult, it's 100% your choice on whether you go or not. Maybe suggest a boys in one room / girls in another situation, rather than parents in one and kids in the other. Maybe frame it as wanting more girl time with your stepmother. Our martial arts instructor used the same thing. If there's something nagging at the back of your mind telling you that something's wrong, then something is wrong. Listen to your instincts, don't dismiss it, and don't let anybody else push it down for you. Stepbrother has told you that he expects your relationship to be physical, re the TikTok. He's already targeted you. Don't let him be alone with you. You're an adult and just stay home and don't go. Not the arsehole at all. Your concerns about changing, sleeping, privacy, etc. are valid. Your father's wife's son is practically a stranger to you. 4 teenagers, basically I know one is 12, should not share one room. It's a recipe for disaster. Even in the best of times, if you all were close and got along, Unless it's some kind of penthouse, it is simply not enough space. An easier solution for your father would be booking another room. But something tells me he won't do that. And Opie has their own comment further down and says, "Wow, I just got out of work and I'm overwhelmed by the amount of comments and support I'm getting from strangers on the internet. Thank you all so much. It makes me feel a lot better. I just wanted to address a few of the questions I'm seeing coming up. 1. I've not told my dad about the creepy stuff that my stepbrother has done that made me uncomfortable. I knew what his reaction would be at the time, so I just sucked it up, knowing that he'd be going back home soon. I'm assuming my dad would brush it off as, oh well, he's trying to get to know you, and not think it's a big deal. 2. I'm seeing a few comments asking why I don't just buy my own room. We're staying at a resort, so the rooms are quite pricey, especially for a full-time college student who only works weekends to pay for. I also feel as though I shouldn't be responsible for that, since my dad is the one who wants to go. If he really wants me to come, he would respect my feelings and make some sort of accommodation. He's the one who put us all in the same room together without even asking my sister and I if we'd be okay with that. And 3, I see a lot of you saying I'm an adult and cannot be forced to go. Well, unfortunately, I'm 19 and still forced to go back and forth between my mum and dad's house to visit him. He holds my college tuition over my head, so whenever I try and make big decisions like this, I usually end up having to back down. I'm gonna start showing my mum all these comments and hopefully she'll understand and we can try and go from there. Thanks so much again to all of you for your feedback and support. I'm gonna try and reply to your comments individually as well. Let me know if you have any more questions regarding the situation. Alright, and now on to the update. Hi guys, I made this post about 5 days ago, and I just had lunch with my dad today, and we talked about this, so I thought I'd give you guys an update. So my dad took me to lunch today so we could talk about stuff without his wife being around. He asked me how I was feeling about the vacation, and I again expressed how uncomfortable sharing a room with my stepbrother made me feel. He took it pretty well, he didn't yell or get mad at me, and he acknowledged my feelings pretty well, which is very rare for him from my experiences. Unfortunately, he told me there is literally nothing he can do. To upgrade rooms or even get a new one would be thousands of dollars, and my dad's very big on budgeting. I asked if we could split the rooms up by gender, and he said that that wasn't possible because one room has a king bed, and the other 2 has 2 queens, so it just wouldn't work. He also told me that we could bring a curtain and hang it up between the rooms we share. That way we still have some privacy. Lastly, he said that if my stepbrother makes any sort of creepy advances on me, I should tell him immediately and he will take care of it. This made me feel a little better, but I was still hesitant. He brought up how much he wanted me to go, how the thing he was looking forward to the most was going scuba diving with me, and how it wouldn't be the same if I wasn't there. I don't know if this is manipulation or if he really feels this way, because I really have my guard up with him. So in the end, I decided I'll still go on the trip. He gave me this long talk about forgiveness and how he had to forgive his dad for the bad stuff he did to him as well. I'm really bad at forgiving, and I'm the first to admit that I hold grudges. I just really want to try and be the bigger person in this situation, and I don't want my siblings to feel weird without me there. So I'm gonna go. I hope y'all are not disappointed. I know most of the comments were in support of me standing my ground and not going unless a change was made, but my dad acknowledged my feelings and did his best to understand and accommodate, I guess. And for now, that's good enough for me. Thanks to everyone again who commented in support of my last post. Your advice and everything else has helped a lot today. And edit, new info. Hey everyone. I want to start by saying thank you again to everyone who has left me support and advice through this situation. I also really appreciate everyone being honest with me in the comments. The reason I said I would go really just boils down to me wanting to connect with my dad, and even though now I realize he didn't acknowledge my feelings in the right way, in the moment my head was too clouded to realize. You all have made really great points and have helped me realize that my circumstances are still not okay. I'm going to have another talk with my dad, hopefully with my sister present and a counselor. We are not going to be going on the trip unless some sort of new sleeping arrangement is presented to us. You guys are all right. This is not a safe situation for any of my siblings or I, and I need to be the one to advocate for us all. Even if it was safe, which, who knows, maybe I'm overthinking and everything will be fine, the fact that we showed discomfort to the situation should be enough for change. Thank you for not sugarcoating anything and for talking some sense into me. I'm overwhelmed with all the support and PMs you guys are sending me. Thank you so much, and maybe there'll be another, better update in the future. Unfortunately, there isn't one just yet. Now in the comments, Shiv315 says, he gave me this long talk about forgiveness and how he had to forgive his dad for all the bad stuff he did to him as well. Yeah, nah, that kinda sounds manipulative. Please do not go. There's still a chance that you'll be in danger of getting assaulted from your stepbrother. Despite all of this, if you still decide to go, I would see about buying pepper spray or some other self-defense techniques. Better safe than sorry. Exactly. Why should OP have to ponder forgiveness? Why isn't Dad making the stepbrother ponder boundaries and basic decency? Way to prioritize budgeting over your daughter's safety. Agreed. It's pathetic how OP's dad handled the situation. There's no real change here. OP will still be in the same room as the stepbrother, but the only difference is a curtain present. It is still a dangerous situation. Quote, unfortunately that he has told me there's literally nothing he can do. Which is a straight up lie. There are thousands of things he can do, he just doesn't want to do any of the things. I can't honestly believe that, after hearing about what your stepbrother has already done, he's not willing to spend a few bucks on you to feel safe. He's still a grade A asshole. You definitely should not go. I no longer trust your father to keep you safe. If he makes a stink, just tell him, unfortunately there's nothing I can do. So mad for you. I'm also mad that you've been manipulated to a point where you can't advocate for yourself. Please, for your safety, do not let this be swept under the rug again. There's nothing he is willing to do to protect his daughter. He's an asshole. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. Friendly reminder that I'm now posting daily on my second channel, Marky2. If you want to laugh at memes with me, link is down in the description below. On phone, you just click that little arrow underneath the video. I also want to say thank you to all my channel members and Patreon subscribers. Your names are currently floating down the screen here, and I love to see all of you guys. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate it. If you see yourself on screen, I want you to give yourself a big pat on the back for being amazing as always, and thank you for supporting me again. I do hope that you guys have a good day, night, sleep, whatever it is you're up to. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.